Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how I took my 5K from 25 minutes to 15 minutes. Not only am I going to show you the sessions, I'm going to show you the progressions. I'm also going to show you why it works, why it will always work. And first, I'm going to give you one little key that made it all possible and you can use to make this big leap forward possible for you. I'm Grantham, a coach and a professional ultra runner, and I don't say that to sound good or brag. I say that because I started with not being able to run for 500 meters, but with a superpower of not listening to the crowd and instead trusting my own instinct. And so I went from not being able to run those 500 meters to being able to run 5K in 25 minutes. And I was really proud of that because in a short time, it's a huge leap forward, but the target never stops. And so, of course, you're at 25 minutes and you're thinking, how do I one day run 4 minutes per kilometer for the entire distance of 5K? And I did that. And then at that point, I thought, well, if I can hold this for 10K, that's 40 minutes. If I can hold it for half marathon, according to what I'm reading online, that would bring me the equivalent time, 124, 125, to predict I could run a marathon in 3 hours. And that, I know in the running world, is the holy grail that a lot of people are aiming towards. But more than that, I thought once I got to 4 minutes per kilometer for 5K, then if we're attacking this from a work ethic, discipline, and relentless nature point of view, it is seriously then only a matter of time and training before I can hold 4 minutes per kilometer and run 100K in 6 hours 40, and most years that would win you the British Championship. And that's exactly what I did. So if I can turn my 5K time, improve my 5K time 20%, and then turn that 20-minute 5K into my 100K pace, I am certain you can do exactly the same for your 5K pace to your marathon pace. It's just a case of all those good things, the work ethic, the discipline, but the right training. So here's exactly how I took my 5K in 25 minutes to 5K in 15 minutes, with refinements along the way so that you don't need to make the same mistakes I made, and so you can do it quicker. And if that ends up in, instead of 40% moving forward, you move forward 20%, it's still a win. Step one, say you've got two identical twin brothers, exactly the same training background, exactly the same genetic makeup, and they've both just ran a 5K all out, 10 out of 10 effort to the finish line in 25 minutes. And they finish and they're having a coffee afterwards, hopefully a banana recovery shake too, but they start to talk about the future and their aspirations to run one day sub 20 minute for 5K. Now, the character of one brother could say, okay, I'm just gonna start training like a 20-minute 5K runner. And so I'll do some work faster than 4 minutes per kilometer, some work a little bit slower, and some work exactly at the 5K pace that I want to run in the future. That is exactly how a lot of marathon runners choose their training paces based on what they want to achieve in the future. And I'll tell you in a second why that is a big mistake. If the second twin brother was more conservative and he said, do you know what, that was an all-out effort, so what I'm going to get comfortable at is running at 5 minute pace, at 5K current PB pace, then in short, he is going to make more consistent progress and get towards the goal faster than the first brother, who is going to get injured, get into trouble, many setbacks, frustration with the sport. It's exactly what happens to marathon runners who say, okay, I want to run 2:59. And so all the training paces are geared towards that. So intuitively, being more like that first brother, a bit too ambitious, but also knowing that injuries can happen in sports unless you gradually introduce each one of the training stimulus, I used the second brother's method, but started to move forward the paces over the weeks and months. And this is exactly how I did it. So stage 2, test. In that example I just gave you with two twin brothers, then they've just done 5K. What we need to do is do a 5K time trial, but in control. So it's not a 10 out of 10 effort. It's not even a 9 out of 10 effort. It's more consistent effort and energy over the laps of 1 kilometer so that you're fully in control and running even splits. And then what you're going to do 4 days after, so you've recovered, you've rested, you've ran easy, you've got your legs fresh again, then what you're going to do is warm up properly for both of these tests and then run a kilometer as fast as you possibly can. Again, not uncontrollable, still manageable, but it's an all-out effort. Those two tests are going to give us our training paces. They're going to tell us for 5K how much in control can we sustain for the distance of 5K, for the race distance that we're attacking and focusing on. They're also going to tell us, again in control, our upper end speed of 1 kilometer controlled. Stage 3, the actual sessions you're gonna do. Now remember, everybody's start point is different. So you gotta think about what's my current volume? What's my current frequency? How often am I running? When was the last time I actually did a speed session? What's the longest run I've done within the last 4 weeks? That will give you, in simple terms, a good idea of where you're starting from, together with those two very relevant tests. Session 1. All you're going to do is exactly the same control and more or less the same pace depending on the day and the conditions. Of course, if we're at 100 Fahrenheit, we're going to be running slower than if it's perfect 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit and lovely conditions. And all you're going to do is break up that 5 kilometers into 5 times 1 kilometer with 60 seconds rest in between. So this is going to be an easier experience than that time trial that you did at 5K. And some days, depending on the conditions, it's going to bring you out faster per kilometer, faster per rep than the time trial. Some days it's going to bring you out slower, depending on the conditions. What we're focusing on is that 8 out of 10 effort. Is this manageable? Is it controllable? And a simple way to tell is, can I do another rep? And when I look back at the heart rate graph, is it nice, consistent efforts? And also the heart rate is coming down quickly. The 60-second rest will keep you in check. It will prevent you from going too hard and putting in unsustainable effort. Session 2. Now all we're going to do is also nudge up that upper end speed. So you're going to do 10 times 400 meters and you're going to do that at the controlled test you did over 1 kilometer. So same effort and same idea. We're looking for solid efforts, solid heart rate recovery so that the session in the heart rate graph when we're looking back looks sustainable. If you're seeing these efforts that are getting out of control, both the effort you're putting in and the heart rate recovery is not coming down, it's unsustainable. And so in simple terms, you need to slow down. Get really comfortable at the 8, and for those reps, 8 to 9 out of 10. What I'm always looking for is 10% improvement. So the progression for both of those sessions, first let's tackle the kilometer repeats. And let's use me as an example. So 25 minutes I'm doing for 5K. So I'm doing 5 times a kilometer. I'm sticking to that 8 out of 10 perceived effort. And that's bringing me out somewhere around 5 minutes per kilometer or 8 minute per mile pace. Now, I want to keep that 8 out of 10 perceived effort, but as I become more efficient at that session, 5 times a kilometer, what I was looking for is to keep that in control, but move the pace down to 4:45 and then 4:30, which I did. And at that point, I then moved it forward to 6 times a kilometer at 4:30 per kilometer. I'm keeping the effort the same, but then once that feels very comfortable, still feel as if I could do another rep, then I'm doing 7 times a kilometer. The caveat there is, depending on your starting point, your pace for that same 8 out of 10 effort will also be getting quicker as you go through the weeks and months. So for me, all of a sudden, I was running 7 times a kilometer at 4 minutes per kilometer, but I wasn't chasing the pace. For the 400 meter repeats, so 10 times 400 meter with 60 seconds rest in between, yeah, we could go off volume again. And once we get comfortable, we could do 12 times 400, 15 times 400, 20 times 400. But what I was running those at was that initial kilometer time trial. So 400 meters on the road at 4:15 pace, that 8 to 9 out of 10 perceived effort, still in control, but higher effort than the kilometer repeats. The progression there is over the weeks and months, your pace gets quicker. So what that's doing is making your 5K pace feel easier whilst nudging up all the good physiological markers that make a good 5K runner, as well as your biomechanics, the way you move efficiently over the ground. And it's a good indicator to know once I've done 7 times a kilometer at the pace that I'm aiming to run 5K all out in, I'm in that kind of shape to run that kind of PB. But remember, the keys are, it's got to be manageable. Each session has got to be manageable. You've got to be in control. If you're not in control, you're losing grip of consistency over the weeks. And as soon as you get in line with the idea that it is the consistency over many weeks and months that is going to transform you into a runner that is unrecognizable to who you are now, the easier and the smoother the upward journey is going to be. Having a target in place, a race booked in, or at least a date in the calendar when I'm going to go out there and run this as a time trial, but being involved in a race, either a park run or a 5K race, is going to do wonderful things for your energy and being part of that community. That date gives me a deadline and it helps me stay accountable. It especially helped me stay accountable in the beginning. But at the same time, if the numbers within those sessions are not pointing at you going significantly quicker, then what I would do is turn that day into a training session. So again, you're running at 95% effort. It's recoverable really, really quickly, and you can get back into training and put a new date in the calendar. That's 2 weeks away, 4 weeks away, 6 weeks away, no problem. Training is about stressing the body. Think of it like an elastic band. You're gonna stretch, not to the point where it's snapping, but just enough, feeding it just enough more so that next time we stretch it, we can stretch it a little bit more. But unless we recover, and that is 90% of the game, unless we recover, and so we're eating well, we're sleeping well, we're respecting the recovery in terms of the rest and the easy run days, then when you come to stretch that elastic band, it's not gonna have the adaptation than if you were treating those recovery methods like a professional athlete.